All right, today we're diving into something that feels like it's straight out of science fiction. It's a technology that could finally make the characters in our digital worlds feel, well, real. We're talking about characters that don't just follow a script, but actually live their own unscripted lives. So, let's start with a feeling I'm sure you've had. You're playing a game, exploring this incredible, vast world, but something just feels off. All the characters you meet, they feel less like people and more like, robotic puppets on strings. And that's the problem, right? They're just stuck on these predictable loops. They say the same thing over and over. You can have this deep, meaningful conversation with a character, walk away, come back 2 minutes later, and poof, it's like they've never even met you. It's like being in the Truman Show. Everything looks real on the surface, but underneath, it just feels totally hollow. But what if we could change all that? Imagine, what if those characters could actually remember you? What if they could form their own opinions, make their own plans, and even throw a party with their friends, all completely on their own? Well, that's the huge idea behind a groundbreaking paper from researchers at Stanford and Google, and they call them generative agents. Okay, so let's actually step into their world and meet these new kinds of digital beings. So what exactly is a generative agent? Well, the concept is actually pretty simple, but incredibly powerful. It's basically a software agent whose brain is powered by a large language model. Yep, the same kind of tech behind tools like ChatGPT. And it uses that brain to try and simulate believable human behavior. To see if this idea would even work, the researchers built this tiny digital town. They called it Smallville. Think of it like a miniature version of The Sims. They created 25 totally unique agents, each with their own backstory and personality, and then they just let them go. They just let them live their lives. And they really do. I mean, look at this. This is a day in the life of an agent named John Lynn. He gets up, he brushes his teeth, he has a chat with his wife May and his son Eddie, and then he heads off to work at the local pharmacy. And here's the crucial part. None of this was programmed into him. This all just happened organically. So you're probably wondering, how on earth is any of this possible? Well, the secret is in a totally new kind of architecture. It's like a blueprint for an artificial mind. At its core, it's all about this continuous loop that's kind of like a human thought process. An agent perceives something in its world, it stores that perception as a memory, and then it pulls out the most relevant memories it has to decide what to do next. It's this constant cycle where experience is always shaping behavior. Now, this whole process is built on three key pillars: the memory stream, reflection, and planning. Let's break them down, starting with the very foundation of it all, the memory stream. Okay, so the memory stream is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's the agent's long-term memory. Just imagine a complete searchable diary that records every single thing the agent experiences, every action, every chat, every little observation, and it's all stored in plain, natural language. But here's the thing. An agent can't just sift through its entire life story every time it needs to make a decision, right? So the system has this really clever way of retrieving memories. When it's thinking about what to do, it basically scores every memory based on three things. How recent is it? How important is it? And how relevant is it to what's happening right now? This lets it pull up the perfect memories for that exact moment. Now, this next part is where things get really, really interesting. The agents don't just have memories, they actually reflect on them. The system takes all these raw observations and synthesizes them into higher level, more abstract thoughts. It's kind of like how we might write in a journal to find patterns or meaning in our own lives. And this image shows that process perfectly. Just look at this. You see all these simple, raw observations on the left, like Klaus is reading a book or Klaus is talking to the librarian. Well, the system slowly synthesizes those, and they bubble up into this much bigger, higher-level conclusion over on the right. Klaus Mueller is highly dedicated to his research. This is how personality is literally built from the ground up, just from experience. And finally, all of those memories and all those reflections get fed into planning. This is where the agent basically creates a to-do list for its day. It starts with broad goals, then it breaks them down into specific, detailed actions. But, and this is key, it's totally dynamic. If something unexpected happens, the agent can react and completely change its plan on the fly. So, okay, that's all the theory. But what happens when you actually put all of these pieces together? Well, let's look at this absolutely stunning example of what they call emergent social behavior. The researchers gave just one agent, her name was Isabella, a single tiny little idea. She wants to throw a Valentine's Day party.
That's it. That was the only instruction they gave. Everything that happened after that, it was completely up to the agents themselves.
And what happened next was this incredible chain of events. So Isabella starts telling people about her party idea at the local cafe. The idea starts spreading organically through the town. Then another agent, Maria, she remembers she has a crush on Klaus, and she thinks, hey, this party is the perfect excuse to ask him out. And here is the incredible result. The next day, on Valentine's Day, at the right time, 5 different agents all coordinated with each other and actually showed up for the party. This wasn't coded in, this wasn't scripted. This complex social event just happened. It emerged all on its own. I mean, this is obviously way more than just a cool tech demo for a video game. So let's just zoom out for a second and think about what this could mean for the real world. The potential here is just vast. I mean, imagine being able to prototype a new social media platform to see how a community might actually form and behave. Or what about creating safe, realistic simulations where you could rehearse a difficult conversation or train people for complex social skills? This isn't just about making the next generation of games more fun. This could become a powerful new tool for understanding society itself. Ultimately, what this research really gives us isn't just a single piece of software. It's a powerful new blueprint. It's a reusable architecture for creating believable simulations of human behavior that you could apply almost anywhere.
And that really leaves us with one final pretty mind-blowing thought. If our digital worlds and the characters that live inside them can become this real, this dynamic, this believable, well, it really makes you wonder, what kind of stories will we be able to live inside them?